All right, welcome back to Texas Folklife's Amplify Austin campaign. We are in the final day of the campaign, the final hours of the campaign. I'm Executive Director Charlie Lockwood of Texas Folklife, and I am here with a special guest today, a veteran of our Stories from Deep in the Heart youth programming, Mateen Kantarabdis. Mateen is a sophomore at UT Austin now. He's studying the human dimensions of organizations in the College of Liberal Arts, and he's minoring in Farsi. Mateen, great to see you and welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, Charlie. Thank you. Great. How are you doing?
I'm good. We're, chugging along with our Amplify Austin campaign. We're trying to raise funds for the organization here in this 24-hour online giving fundraiser. And I wanted to have you on to speak a little bit about your experience with our Stories program, because you started participating in this program when you were in middle school, right? Tell me a little bit about kind of how you got into the program and your experience with it, maybe in those early days when we first met each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I believe I was in the sixth grade when you guys walked into one of our classrooms and handed us microphones and told us, go make a story. And I thought it was so cool because we really had no boundaries of like what we needed to cover. It was a really unique experience. Actually, my group, we had the opportunity to walk down the street from the middle school to Franklin's barbecue and actually talk with the owner, Mr. Aaron Franklin. And we were just a bunch of young sixth and seventh graders holding microphones with the earbuds in, interviewing the people waiting anxiously in line, see if they'll make it. And then we had the opportunity to actually talk to him. And then we went back to the classroom, put everything together. We really created a story out of it. We took the different snippets we have, we listened back to everything, and from it came a really interesting audio documentary, I think. And that's what really sparked my interest in Texas Folklife, what they do, and Stories from Deep in the Heart. So from there, I believe it was a lot of summers my cousin and I would spend with you guys with the program, making audio documentaries. And I think it's so unique because Texas Folklife works to help preserve the different cultures and diversity of our great state. And it's been an honor to get to be a part of it during my middle school and high school years.
Well, we were honored to have you continue to participate for many iterations of the program. You know, the pieces that you worked on were kind of these intimate profiles of either, often businesses like Franklin's. And I remember from that story, you were able to get some really honest interviewing done with him. And he really opened up about, his feelings about his business and the journey he'd been on, and seeing how much success they've had, even the years since then. It's amazing that you got that, pretty intimate profile of him. And then the other stories, I think, were you talked to a luthier, a guitar maker, and also a sitar player, a Indian classical musician, and often, and those are just really excellent stories. And some of them, I think, won some awards on Public Radio Exchange for like best youth produced stories. So you did some great work. And what I thought was really special was you kind of sticking with it and continuing to grow and learn from us, while also really creating good stories about the unique culture bearers here in the Austin area. So I thought you did amazing work, and it was really awesome to see you kind of grow along with the program.
Thank you.
I was curious, we stayed in touch over the years, and now you're in college and you're doing all kinds of great work. I was curious if you could tell me, is there anything you learned from the Stories program that really stuck with you, that you continue to sort of incorporate in your current studies or your future work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's a big misconception with how audio stories or podcasts work. A lot of people think you just talk in a microphone, you click publish, and there you go. And some people do that, but the audio documentaries that Stories from Deep in the Heart and Texas Folklife are working on are very different. And I really appreciated the experience because I learned what it meant to actually go out, do a raw interview, understand someone, really try to get their emotions in a spoken form, which is very difficult when you don't have a camera and you don't have someone looking in the camera and showing their facial expressions. So that was really cool to do. And then, of course, coming back to the studio or to the classroom and using Audacity. That's another perk. You get to learn about Audacity, but using these different softwares to play around with the audio and make it sound just like you want it to sound. Throw in some good music to make it sound good. But then, of course, creating the storyboard. So seeing what direction you want this story to go, because you can never know what someone's going to say in an interview. You have to really take what they say and create the story out of it. And that's why actually my cousin and I, with the few stories we produced, we really liked like the intimate style, trying to create a personal story out of it. And that actually really has helped me these days with the work that I do. So I actually was in high school, I was working at our school newspaper. And during my senior year, I had the opportunity to be our editor in chief. So I was showcasing to some of the other students what to do when an interview goes bad or they don't get the necessary information that they want out of an interview, and how you can still create a story out of it. I think people's words are always very unique and very interesting to hear. And some people speak differently than others, right? And it doesn't mean you can't make a story out of it. So I think that was very important. And of course, now even in college, just the way you learn to create a story out of what you're being, the information that you're receiving, I think was very useful. And it helps me every day to this day, whenever I'm writing an essay where I need some firsthand evidence to put into it, or really, so it's very useful information.
That's awesome. Maybe a related kind of follow up would be uh, for kids that are going to be getting involved in our program now. Why do you think stories in that kind of program is important for young people to be part of? Is there anything that comes to mind as to why programs like this are important for young people to stay involved with through their education experience?
Yeah, I think this program especially is very useful and can be very resourceful for students, because just from the concept of creating an audio documentary, there's so many other things that you didn't think you would learn, but you learn along the way. So you learn how to interact with people when you're going to interview someone. I myself, when I was young, I was very shy. So the whole concept of taking a microphone up to someone and trying to speak to them uh, didn't sit well in my head. But after I did it, I realized that, oh, I can do this. Anyone can do it, right? If they put their mind to it. And of course, from there, also from a young age, you're learning how to create stories, meaningful stories that are going to have a lasting impact, that are going to help preserve the state's culture. So I think there's so much students can learn from it. And I know it could seem a little difficult at first, but it's really not hard, especially when you're working with a group of friends, a group of students. It's a lot of fun. And of course, it's very satisfying at the end to be able to hear the completed project. Say, hey, I spent 2, 3 weeks, maybe even months working on this, and this is the completed episode, and it's here forever now. So I think that's a very memorable thing and very useful for young students to learn.
Excellent. And again, you created some really amazing pieces over the years. Maybe we can drop the links in here on social media so those that are tuning in could see some of the stuff you did. It's all
Sure.
good. It's award-winning stuff, so you should be proud.
I think my voice probably sounded very different when I was when I was making those.
That's probably true, but amazing that you've taken away so much from the program. I've been very lucky to have been around long enough to see participants like you kind of grow up with the program and be part of it for several years, and now you're doing amazing things kind of in your next step of your journey. So we were very happy to support sort of your creativity and storytelling and learning those skills that you mentioned, that I think are some of the main takeaways and main attributes of the program. So it's been amazing to watch you continue on. So I wanted to thank you for being in touch. And I'm curious, is there anything else you wanted to say about the program, or final thoughts for us?
Not particularly, just obviously very thankful that you guys walked into my classroom that day in middle school and gave us these microphones. I don't think I would be where I am today with some of the knowledge I have in these various different areas that Texas Folklife has been able to provide me. And I would urge any student who's interested, reach out to Texas Folklife. If Texas Folklife comes to your school, get involved. You might think a podcast doesn't involve video, maybe it sounds boring, but it's so much fun. So definitely reach out to Texas Folklife and get involved.
Awesome. Well, Mateen, thank you again for jumping on, and it's really great to catch up with you. Hope to talk to you again soon. Good luck with all of your endeavors you've got coming up. And wanted to just remind everyone, we're in the final hours here of Texas Folklife's Amplify Austin campaign. If you want to support this kind of student work, supporting our program, Stories from Deep in the Heart, please donate to the campaign. Help us get our goal. Even a small donation of $10, $25 and up can be a game changer for us. It allows us to bring more resources into classrooms, do more kind of virtual interviewing work that we've been doing over the last year, living in the pandemic paradigm and working through some of the challenges there with education programming. So anything you're willing to do to support really helps us out a lot. I encourage you to donate now on our Amplify Austin page. So Mateen, it's been a pleasure. Great to see you, and we'll catch up soon. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Bye.
All right, take care, everyone.
¿Dónde estás, lucerito de mi alma? En las noches te vivo soñando. Tú me dices que te siga esperando. ¿Hasta cuándo te voy a esperar? Imborrable te llevo en mi mente, esperando de ti una esperanza. Y a mis brazos te esperan con ansias de llevarte conmigo al altar. ¿Dónde estás, lucerito de mi alma? En las noches te vivo soñando. Tú me dices que te siga esperando. ¿Hasta cuándo te voy a esperar? Imborrable te llevo en mi mente, esperando de ti una esperanza. Y a mis brazos te esperan con ansias de llevarte conmigo al altar. ¿Dónde estás, lucerito de mi alma? Que en las noches te vivo soñando. Tú me dices que te siga esperando. ¿Hasta cuándo te voy a esperar? Imborrable te llevo en mi mente, esperando de ti una esperanza. Y a mis brazos te esperan con ansias de llevarte conmigo al altar. luceritos de mi alma. Thank you so much. Gracias, queridos amigos. Thank you. We got a great show for you tonight. We got some very special guests going to join us on the stage here.